Now it's 7 o'clock, time to launch Feed the Fish. We're very precise here at Queen's Park Arena, and I'm going to turn it over straight away to an alumnus, Big Two. Got to spend some time with him when he was with the Bellies many years ago, the voice of lacrosse, Mr. Jake Elliott. Thanks for doing this again, buddy. Really appreciate it, and the floor is yours.
Okay, well, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, and good to be back wearing the red of the New Westminster Salmonbellies, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President. So welcome everybody here to Feed the Fish. I'm really looking forward to this. We'll be with you for the next couple of hours here. We have, of course, big 50-50 draw coming up. We have our silent auction going, which President Horn will be updating us continually through the night here. And we have a bunch of people to talk to, including the new GM of the Bellies, Ray Porcellato. Tyrell Hamer-Jackson will be here. A bunch of alumni as well, and it is going to be a fun night. So now, Paul, I think you.
I'm going to do an intro for us.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm going to do an intro for us here right off the splash.
Okay, let's do it.
Awesome. We are really, really lucky this year to have a big partner in Stonehouse Realty. These guys are a young but growing, ambitious outfit. Kind of sounds a lot like the lineup of the Salmonbellies this year. So we want to thank Stonehouse Realty for getting behind the team in a big way. We've got Adam and Liam here. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things we're planning on doing this year. Let me actually show you some of the things, and I'll let these guys unmute while I do that and show you some of the ways that they're helping us to support the team this year. So let's go right there. There we go. So welcome, Adam. Welcome, Liam.
Yeah, thanks for having us here. It's awesome. Look forward to a great season and supporting you guys and having some fun.
Well, you guys tell us a little bit about why you chose the Salmonbellies.
Well, you know what? I love the long history of the Salmonbellies. I don't know a lot about lacrosse, but I'm going to learn a lot along the way here.
That's where I come in. I absolutely love lacrosse. Grew up playing as a Poco Saint against the Bellies each year. Had my heart broken by you guys too many times and decided to come on over.
Awesome. Well, probably Porcellato was responsible for a few of those because he was over with the junior Bellies before he came up to seniors.
I've got a book here so I can learn a lot here right there.
That is the book to have right there, Adam. There's no question about it. And you can use that, actually. I should have said this to answer some of the trivia questions. And I'll tell you what, these are donated by Mr. Ray Porcellato here. A couple of beautiful mugs from Ammon Snacks. And if you can answer the trivia questions we had up earlier, anybody who's watching right now with the hashtag Feed the Fish on Twitter, first person who does that, we got 2 of these. We'll give you a trivia. We'll give you a reward if you answer the 2 questions there. You need to name 3 sets of Salmonbellies brothers, past or present, and you got to say who out-pimmed Jake Elliott in 2001. He had 35 pims. Somebody else had.
That's a low bar that year, Paul.
I know. Your rep. I'm telling you, Big Two, that rep is, that must have been a slow year.
I ran out of customers, essentially.
Yeah. What'd you play? 1 game?
You had 18 games. I'll give you that.
Well, tell us about Stonehouse Realty here a little bit, guys. What kind of markets are you in? Residential, commercial? What do you guys got going on at Stonehouse?
So Stonehouse started 5 years ago. We do commercial, land assemblies, residential. We have 3 offices: Langley, Coquitlam, Victoria, and we've got 265 great agents. So
265.
Yeah.
And how many languages do they speak, Adam? About 263.
Pretty much every language out there, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are tuned into the marketplace right now. You've got young, really motivated guys there, and that's what I thought was an appealing fit for us. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things we're doing, and you know what I forgot to put up here, actually, and Jake, you can talk about this because this was the brilliance of you and Brad Challoner on the best podcast in Lacrosse Classified. And that segment that we're doing together is partly thanks to these guys at Stonehouse. So I'll let you start off by describing that segment that their hard sponsorship dollars have helped us to put on.
Yeah, well, it looks like they got a bunch of other stuff that they do as well with the suite and the player of the week and a couple of parties going on as well. But yeah, the Kings of Queens Park. You kind of brainstormed that title, which I really like. And essentially, we're just going to kind of cover the history, the long storied history of the Bellies. We're going to highlight some of the great players that have put on a Salmon Belly jersey over the years, and some of the great teams that went on to win Man Cups and have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So a very storied history here in New Westminster with the Bellies. And for some of the listeners that may not be as familiar as maybe we are, Paul, hopefully we can teach the listeners about a little bit of the Salmon Bellies. And we do that every week. Every Tuesday it comes out. Lacrosse Classified is what the podcast called, and the feature is called The Kings of Queens Park. So we've cranked out a few. I think who do we done here? Wayne Goss, Paul Parnell, Jack Bionda so far. So it'll be a surprise to me. Brad always kind of surprises it with me each week on who it is, and I have to think on the fly about my favorite memory or whatever it may be of that player. So 3 down so far. You can check all those out anywhere you listen to a podcast, Lacrosse Classified.
And that's fantastic. And Jake's been awesome at giving them to us and putting the clips up. So the Stonehouse Kings of Queens Park is on the website as well every week. So you can keep in tune with that. And it's amazing because I know the list, and the list is going to get, we're going to go through some of the retired jerseys that you might expect, but we're going to go deep. We're going to find a few others that maybe we'll call them factors in the Salmon Belly storied history we're going to talk about as well.
I'm not in there, by the way. I'm not in there.
No, you know what? We're not going that deep. We're not going that deep. I want to talk about the last 2 items here. Opening night. We always have minor night to start off. That's going to happen again. If you're a Salmon Bellies fan and you got a minor player in your family and they want to wear their colors that night, they'll get in for free first night. And the other thing is, we're hoping to have a big splash. Adam, you want to talk about what you're hoping to do? We're going to get the tickets out here to all of your colleagues here in the next little while, but I know you want to have a good crowd out as we welcome everybody back to Queens Park.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to spread the word around, make sure that everybody knows about the opening night and stuff. I think it's going to be great. Our overall goal is just to bring a lot more attention to the game and get more community involvement and have some fun. I think with COVID, everybody's been staying at home a little too much. Now's your time to kind of get out and try something new.
Exactly. Hey, take a guess at how long it's been, Adam. And I know Jake knows the answers. How long do you think it's been since we were? You're going to ask that, Big Tim?
Well, that's what I was going to say. That it's been a long, long time. But I'll let Adam have a guess here.
How many days do you think it's been since the Queens Park Arena floor features Senior Salmon Bellies player on it?
2 years?
Well, you got to give me days.
Oh, days. So so it's like 700 days?
700 days. What do you think it is, Ray?
900.
900. We got another, it's higher than that. We got Jack in here. Jack Fulton, come on around here. Bring your chair over here. We got a guy who's been with the Salmon Bellies longer than I've been alive here. He just came in. We'll get him in here. Jack, what's your guess on how long it's been since the Salmon Bellies graced the Queens Park floor? Not the concrete floor that we played on last summer either, the real one.
Player?
How many days do you think it's been since we played at Queens Park?
Well, we played since 1931.
No. How many days has it been since we played?
Since we played?
Yeah.
And it's higher than 900.
It's higher than 900.
1222.
1222, he says. Come on over here, Jack. We'll get you in where you can be seen. It is not. What is it, Big Two?
It's 1,027 days since the
exactly. The opening night,
crowd.
June 2nd, will be 1,027 days, and we're hoping
Almost 3 years.
People are. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to get there and see it. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to having Stonehouse with us, and they're not just going to be with us for this year. These guys. Terry Blair always said, when you sign somebody, you don't think about whether they're a good player, you think about how long they're going to play with you. And so the folks at Stonehouse are with us for at least 3 years. We might have had an option year in there. What do you think, Adam?
This is a long-term commitment.
Exactly. Some marriages don't last that long. Anyways, we thank you guys so much for your support, and we will see Jake interviewing a player at the end of each of our home game as that Stonehouse Player of the Week. We'll put that video clip on our social media and on our website as well.
That's good. Thanks, guys.
Welcome aboard, fellas.
And oh, by the way, Jack wants to know whether you got your tickets yet for the smoker.
Well, I mailed them.
Okay, he's mailed the smoker ticket. So Jack's asking you for to confirm. Let us know if you got it. June 24th for the smoker. Make sure you get. If you haven't got the tickets in the mail, you email me. Okay.
Sounds great.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys. This is awesome.
Appreciate it. I'm going to go down to I'm going to stop sharing the screen here again, Jake, so that you can interview General Manager Porcellato here if you want to, but I do want to quickly just show over here.
Well, yeah, I mean, we got royalty in the house here, Paul. I think we need to speak to Mr. Fulton for a little bit before we get to Ray, if that's okay with you.
That is A-okay. Absolutely. You go right ahead and fire away and I'll jump in.
How long have you had that jacket, Jack?
Not as long as you think. About 25 years.
Okay, well, it's a beautiful
Bobby
one.
Madison had them made in North Vancouver for
Okay.
$175 each.
And guess what? There's one of them, just one, up for auction right now. Last I checked, $410 is what it's going for right now on the live auction. I'm a little bit tempted not to tell people that because I actually want it, but size large, just like Jack's. You won't look as good as him.
It takes me out of the running too. I don't think I'm squeezing into a large play yet.
Yeah, but you, it's on there right now. So if you want to bid on, that's one of the best items. I asked Jack to make sure he modeled that for us tonight.
Well, let's, before we get to Jack here then, Paul, let's run down some of the other items that are up for grabs here on the silent auction. I know the 50-50 at last check was just over $1,200.
Yeah.
I imagine that number has maybe climbed a bit, so you can give us an update on that and then tell us.
I'll give you that update right now. And let's take a quick look here and see where we are with the 50-50. We are, as far as our goal of 10 grand, we are just about $5,300, and our 50-50 is creeping up to 1,500. It's 1,465 right now. And we are going to drop that ticket tonight at 8:55 p.m. So that's going to be the last chance. The auction, we just added a bunch of new stuff today, by the way, and the auction is open till 6 o'clock tomorrow. So you can find the tickets as well as the auction items on the links right on our webpage at salmonbellies.com, or you can Google Trellis, Trellis, and feed the fish, and you'll find it that way. And yeah, I'll happily showcase a few of the things. In fact, I brought some of them with me here. So let me open this back up again. So this one, I'm a big Scotch guy. And so this is part of a basket. Right now, last I checked, $110 the basket is going for, and that is at least $25 lower than its value. This is the official whiskey of the British Open, Loch Lomond, and it comes with a box set of tumblers and whiskey stones. So that's a good one. And I'll show you one other one here for now, and that is made by hand by Bruce Richardson. Again, another one I want. I think it's right now going at $100, but it is one of a kind. He makes these, everyone's unique, but as you can see, your bird will live in style. This is, I was going to actually ask Adam, what do you think this would appraise at right now in the Vancouver market? I'm going 1.3.
It's priceless.
Exactly.
Where's it located?
Yeah, so it's a bird. And the best thing about this birdhouse, it has a birdhouse. So
Yeah.
it's like a granny suite. You can rent that out for $500 a month right there alone.
It's worth more since it's in the Queen's Park area. So
That's right. Exactly. Precisely. It's got park access. In fact, it's mobile home. You can go wherever you want with it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if you're not living in Queen's Park already, you're probably not moving to Queen's Park.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some other big? You got a golf, little golf package there. What else you got?
Golden Eagle. Yeah, we've got a Golden Eagle package going. It's 4 players and carts for both of them as well. Last I checked, $285. That's about $115 lower than its value right now. We've got a whole bunch of gift cards got added today, $300, 3 separate gift cards from Save On Foods. They were all undervalued. Lots of restaurants, Gino's Restaurant, Cockney King's Restaurant, our old friends, Greens and Beans with a picnic basket. Pretty awesome. You can head over here to QPA. Steel and Oak Growlers with merch. They don't even sell this merch anymore. I think it's hoodies. And my favorite brewery, Steel and Oak, and just awesome stuff there. So head on over and check it out. And the totals are very slowly creeping
Yeah,
up.
sounds like the time is right. The strike while the iron is hot there and get your bids in. So
Exactly.
let's turn it here to Jack Fulton. Jack, you've been around this team, I don't know how many years. 1955, is that when you joined the Salmonbellies?
56.
56.
I
And
made the mistake of going to a meeting to see if I could help out.
what brought you to that meeting originally? Did somebody coax you
Well,
to
no,
say
we
come?
were, I was working in the fire hall, and we were sitting chatting with another one of the firemen, and he said, we looked at the fortunes, like they had the Minnow Cup team in 53, and they brought those kids up. And they were always winning. They were playing 4 periods at a time. They were always winning at the end of the 3rd period. But then the veterans took over and they'd lose by 1 or 2 goals. So this friend of mine, Jimmy Gilchrist, he says, why don't we go to the meeting? There's a meeting tonight. See if we can help out. It was at Will Phil's basement on Edinburgh Street in New West. So I went and he never showed up. So they said, well, I said, what could I do? Well, there was the equipment manager to start with. Before the year was out, I was running the team. There was nobody there.
And did you know anything about the Salmonbellies or Lacrosse or Queens Park or
Company
anything?
Spring lived 2 doors down from me, who used to coach the Salmonbellies, and they had all the gear. I was always interested in it. You know, I always liked the game.
There's a flash from the past. Grumpy Spring. That's a name, cigarette card name, for crying out loud.
You don't get names like Grumpy anymore, do you?
No.
Those are the quality nicknames. So you have seen how many Man Cups along the way here? How many Man Cup victories for this team? I think I would count that time.
The first one was 58, 59, 62, 65.
So that's 4.
That's 4. And then I went, I coached my son in Pee Wee and Bantam for 3 years. And then I was on the CLA. I went through the steps there, ended up running the show there. And then
Jackie ended up coaching in 91, right? And won another Man Cup with him coaching.
Yes.
That's when Casey Cook phoned me. I was a few years there, I wasn't involved. And then Casey phoned me and said, could I come as an advisor?
Yeah.
Well, you know what that means.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been advising ever since and nobody listens.
I've advised a few trouts with them hooks before.
Well, I was actually watching your Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame lacrosse legend interview, and I know that was a few years ago now, Jack, but you're still selling smoker tickets, you're still acquiring jersey sponsors and program sponsors as well. Those are kind of your duties now.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Nobody outsells Jack, and I'm just going to tell Adam and Liam right now that if Jack was the one who was talking to you guys to arrange the Stonehouse deal, it'd be a 10-year deal right now. Just like that right now.
Well, I don't know if I ever thanked Jack, but during my playing days in New Westminster, my jersey sponsorship was the College Place Hotel, which sounds a little classier than maybe old Jake Milford's establishment, with the part that we went to anyway. So I got treated like a VIP at the old College Place Hotel, with that being my jersey sponsor.
You did enjoy a few mugs and a few jugs.
I wasn't going to say it.
Hey, trust me, you know what's coming out of my mouth as soon as I think it.
Jack, like you said, you've watched a lot of Salmonbelly lacrosse and seen a lot of teams over the length of your life and career. Can you put your finger, or can you pick the best Bellies team you've ever seen?
I think 1959.
And what made that team so special?
Well, Jack Bionda scored 174 points, and Cliff Sepka was second, and he had 74. So that's just how great he was.
In a 7-game series.
No, this is over the season.
Okay, yeah.
And we played Peterborough in the Man Cup and whipped them 4 straight. We had no problem with them. It was a great team. But my favorite team is 1965, because we didn't have really that great a team. We had Cliff Sepka and Parnell, a few of them, but we picked up 3 juniors, Mac Tyler and a couple of other ones. But Doug McCrory was the coach, And I credit him with bringing the Man Cup back. And we started in the Man Cup against Brooklyn, and we beat them 13-7. And I thought, holy jeez, we've already won 12 straight Man Cup games, you know, and now we got these guys here. Well, the second game, they beat us 8-7 or by a short score anyway. The third game, they beat us in overtime, 16-14. And the fourth game, they beat us quite handily. And I thought, this is not supposed to happen. You know, we're down 3-1. So we went into the fifth game, and it was a tough game, and we beat them 8-7. And then we blew them out the last two games because there was a beer strike on. And they were staying at College Place Hotel drinking hard liquor.
Tell me about this beer strike, because I found this story hilarious. They didn't have any access to beer, so they turned themselves onto the hard liquor for the rest of the series.
We were okay because we had access from the College Place, but they weren't giving them any, you know, and they were partying in their basement. And
so these type of shenanigans, you know, when a team comes east or a team goes west, there's always a little bit of an advantage, whether you stick them in a tiny locker room or you put them in a crappy hotel or something. But this was serious now. You cut them off for beer.
Yeah. Well, we didn't. There was a beer strike everywhere.
Hey, I want to know what the over-under was in College Place Hotel getting mentioned twice tonight. That's I think it pretty much would have won if you went on the under in that one before, but it didn't work out that way.
What's going on there now? I haven't been through that part of the
for challenged people.
Okay.
You know, if provincial government bought it,
it's housing now.
It's housing.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
My second favorite team would be the 62 team.
That's the team that won out east, and then that hadn't been done for a while, right?
We played Vancouver in a final, and we split the first 4 games, and then the fifth game, Vancouver won. Now they're up 3-2, and Jack McKinnon was the coach at the time, and he came to me and said, would you let us take me on to back east when we go? And I said, well, just a minute, you're not there yet. Oh, we're going, he said. But the seventh game in Vancouver, we were winning 9-6 with about 5 minutes to go, and Vancouver scored 3 goals and tied it up. So now we're into overtime. Overtime, and just at the end of regulation time, beyond it gets a 2-minute penalty. At that time, you played the 10 minutes. Wasn't just the first goal. Anyway, we played 5 or 6 minutes, and all of a sudden, Vancouver's coming up the floor, and they make a pass, and Barkley intercepts it. And he flips it to beyond it because he was always the last one back. And he goes down and scores to put us ahead by 1. Then Ken Audie came down. He scored 1. Billy Job came 1. And then Audie got another one, and we beat them 13-9.
Wow.
Then we went back east.
And now the Salmonbellies also have that stake, right, where they are the last Western team to win a Man Cup in the East. And I believe it's been since what, Paul, 1986 now? I want to say it's been a long,
I think time. That's about right. Yeah, because even years with them. And yeah, and of course we have a bitter taste in our mouth from the last time it happened the opposite way here. So just want to take a moment just quickly, Nod, before we go back here. I want to welcome the big cat.
He's on.
Kevin Crowley's joined us here, everybody. And we want to say thanks to Kevin for joining us here tonight. And Kevin, how's your time tonight? I want to make sure we don't squish you out time-wise.
Yeah, I'm free. I'm easy.
Okay. What are you doing? Are you local or are you back in Philly right now, Kev?
Local.
Okay. Looks looking out the window, it looks like similar weather to where I'm at right now. So what are you doing? Where are you?
Enjoy it.
Okay. And the other thing is I've got Ray here, and Jack's going to stay with us. So Ray's got to get ready to go to practice.
Okay.
So let's get Ray in here to talk a little bit about the season and what's going on there. So Ray, we'll welcome you. First of all, thanks for doing this. You and I both talked about this June 2nd. Well, for you, you're going away with the team here on next Friday. That'll be the first time since you and I both came aboard December of 2019 that we actually get to see
A real game.
a real game.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. Just a week from now, tomorrow, we'll be heading to Victoria That game is live on Czech television, so we expect a pretty good crowd over there. And then we stay over and we head up the island and play Nanaimo on the 28th, and then ferry home. And then the following Thursday, our home opener against Burnaby on June 2nd.
So
Well,
it'll be,
it's going to be an exciting time, and it's kind of been a tough situation for you two, kind of taking over the organization and then having to sit and wait and plan and stew and all the rest of it. So it's nice that you guys are finally going to get a chance to kind of get some live action under your belt. Maybe you can walk us through that process here, Ray. How did Dan Richardson, a longtime general manager of the Bellies, kind of moving on with his NLL duties, and that opened up a spot for you, but how did the process work for you to become the next general manager of the Bellies?
Yeah, I was interviewed by John Richardson. John and I are the same age, and we've played lacrosse together since we were like 6 or 7 years old. So John and I go way back. So he's the one that reached out, and I was a few years out from the junior Bellies, from last being the D coach and assistant GM, and he knew I'm pretty passionate about it still and would love to get that 25th Man Cup. So it wasn't a long conversation when I said, yeah, I'm willing to do it. And then all of a sudden,
we're all striving for number 25 here for sure. Come close a couple of times, but well, I don't know. Is this the year here, Ray? What are the expectations going into the 22 season?
Well, I would say that they were, go back 6 months, they were very high. But there's been a lot of things happen that negatively affect not just the Salmonbellies, but the WLA itself. And actually the MSL and Lacrosse Canada are being affected. But in the West here, we have a lot of players choosing to play Senior B, like, NLL high level players lured to play Senior B for going after a President's Cup. So that hurts. We lost a few guys there, and we have some key injuries, some guys that are going to have surgery here real soon, key players. And then our team only lost one guy so far, Mike Messenger, to the PLL, but that has greatly affected lacrosse in Canada the summer season. So it's quite a weird year. So we're going to be okay. I brought in a really top end goalie with actually help from the big cat there, his goaltender from Philadelphia. Zach Higgins is coming to be the stopper for us. So he's going to be here next Wednesday. He's pulling into town. So we're excited to have him in net for those first 2 games on the island. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be some young guys in the lineup that may, because of the injuries in the PLL and Senior B, that wouldn't have got a chance. But they're going to get a chance early on, and we're still expecting some guys to come back, like Jordan Gillis and Drew Belgrave, and so some key players still in the NLL playoffs.
Yeah, and still some veterans amongst the team as well here, Ray. As I'm just kind of looking at the list you sent over. Longtime veteran Colton Clark back in a Bellies uniform. Of course, the Jones boys and Mitch and Jason, if you're listening out there and trying to scramble for that trivia answer, I might have just helped you out a little bit with Mitch and Jason Jones. Ilya Gaich back, the McBride brothers back as well.
Give away the answer entirely, Elliot.
I'm trying to help out the people here, Paul. Okay,
there might have been a trade this week that brought a couple other brothers into the Salmonbellies family too.
That's right. A little Coquitlam flavor coming to New West in the Cornwall brothers as well.
Yeah.
But let's maybe talk about a couple of the young guys, because I saw Willie Malcolm. Unfortunately, he's one of those guys that had to go under the knife, and I think that actually went down today. So he's on the road to recovery, and I think one of the other guys might be on the line with us here in Kevin Crowley. But let's talk about number 1 overall here in Hayden Dixon. I've been watching this kid kind of grow up over the last few years. He's already played in the NLL before he even is going to play a game of Senior A. How excited are you to have Hayden Dixon in your lineup?
Yeah, he is. First of all, he's a great kid. He showed up and he just fit in like automatically. Great personality, but he's an absolute horse, and he's a big boy, and he's got fast feet. He's got a fantastic stick, and it's clear clear when you watch him just in practice out on the floor. He's a very high caliber player, and we're excited to have him out there on the right side.
Yeah, we have some pretty potent guys, and when the mix is all back, it's going to be amazing. I think if you got to see a little bit of that exhibition series last year, the thing that stood out for me is the Malcolm brothers. And I was amazed to find out those two guys didn't get to play growing up together. They're 3 years apart.
Yeah.
And so, but man, they were magic. Absolutely
They
magic.
were great. And Anthony is going to be back. He's got some clinics to run back in Albany. So he's got some work to do, so earn a little money back there before he comes back to New West. But we're expecting him in the third week of June to be back in New West and play about 10 games. And then he might have to go back to Albany for a bit, but then he'll be back for the end of the season and a playoff and Man Cup run, hopefully. And and Will had some surgery there. So not entirely sure, but like Paul was saying, like some of the deals that I've made, they're for this year, but they're more so when the senior B, circus leaves town, and next year we get back to, the Man Cup being out west, and the attraction is that instead of the President's Cup, then our lineup will be very strong.
Yeah, maybe let's just check off these guys so we can kind of move on from it. The guys that are looking to play Senior B this year: Alexis Bouquet, Brandon Goodwin, Jeff Cornwell, Sam Clare, who you just acquired from Burnaby, and Logan Schuss. Looks like they're, and it's hard to argue with Logie if there's anybody, being a Ladner guy and his dad being a legend in that town and him wanting to kind of get one for his city, I can understand it. So a little unfortunate there, but you got Brendan Ranford coming back, which I'm excited to see. I always love watching Brendan Ranford play lacrosse. And it's not so much, he doesn't have slick hands or anything, Ray, but he just he runs like the wind. He's a big horse out there, gets loose balls like crazy, and another local kid that knows what it means to be a belly.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're gonna do the best we can this year, which I think definitely a playoff team, and I'm still my job is to keep working until the deadline to assemble a team. I'm working on some leads as well from some other players, still working on guys coming in, but we're gonna have a team on the floor, and like I said, the Bellies, pride and tradition will be out there in full force on the 27th in Victoria.
And one of the things that I wanted to say is we, as a club, we did not take those 2 years off. And that's why last year we ran that exhibition series, kept engaged with our players, whether it was something as simple that first summer as having a team photo done, because we kind of knew if you don't continue that tradition, it's hard to get it back. And so we know it's going to take a bit of time for all the pieces to come together. Lacrosse is changing. And so we have to be adaptive, but neither of us are sitting on our hands.
No, not at all.
So,
all right. Well, I know you got to get to practice here, Ray, but you'll have Neil Tyak backing up Zach Higgins, and he's been a kind of in and around the Bellies organization for a long time, so he knows what it's all about. But maybe just touch on a few of the young guys here, like Kobe Noda and Finn Stark and Conor Evers, and some of these younger guys that are going to get a chance to play in a Bellies uniform that might not have if things didn't kind of pan out the way they could. What can fans look forward to with the young crop of draft picks that are coming in?
Well, they're like the Kobe Noda and Finn Stark. Those are New West guys, and they're hardworking young guys. Finn Stark being a radio, and Kobe being a smaller guy but still very quick, loose ball guy. And Conor Evers, we're sort of evolving him as a player because Tyrell Hammer Jackson is another player that went under the knife with the MCL surgery, so we don't have him. So we needed a face-off guy. So Conor Evers came back from university in the States, and he goes like 6'1", like 200 pounds, and he's got pretty good hands and pretty coordinated kid. So I pulled him aside a couple of weeks ago. I said, "Hey, you ever take face-offs?" And he's like, "Yeah, back in intermediate." I said, "Okay, well, you're going to go to Hammer's face-off control a few times here. You're going to start working with him. You're our new face-off guy." And he said, "Okay." So then he went out and had to Hammer's elite session, and Hammer said he did really well first time out. So we're grooming him to take some face-offs early on, and so he'll get a bunch of floor time in the special teams on the face-off team as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be some names out there that the new West fans are going to learn for the first time, and we think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah,
I think Hammer might be able to turn me into a face-off guy, Paul, if I went to face-off control, right?
It's the only problem that some of us have, and I'm not, I think I'm not speaking out of turn when I say it's the getting up afterwards, big too. That even I would suffer.
I got a new hip now, man. I'm good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do have to go.
All right.
I got truthfully, I have a prospect.
Thank you very
coming
much.
to the rink right now.
Appreciate
Focus
it.
first. Well, thanks for joining us, Ray, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good luck
We'll
on
see
the
everybody
weekend
very
over the
soon. Big Cat, let's see you later, bud.
Thanks so much. Hey, let's get Big Cat in here. I'm going to put Jack in the photo now, but I really apologize for the fact that we made you hang around, Kev. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ray. So
are you worried about filling time, and we're already running behind here? Right?
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a problem with talking.
I like listening to you guys talk. Keep going.
That's awesome.
Well, you're gonna do some talking too right now, Kevin. And unfortunately, you're one of the guys going. Are you a little trouble with the wing? What's going on?
Yeah, so I tore my labrum back in February of this year. So I've been playing on a bad wing all season. And my doctor recommended at the end of the year, I kind of told him what my options were for summer ball, and he's highly recommended that I get the surgery now so I don't have a lingering injury when I'm 45. So kind of a tough decision. A lot's it happened fast after the season when we had made this decision, and then the PLL came knocking at my door.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird situation I'm in right now.
I got to ask you about that. What happened there? Because I kind of felt like you were like blackballed or something from the PLL. Why you weren't picked up way before this year? Did the bridge get fixed? What happened?
That's a really good question. So the first year in 2020,
this is the way you get a guy blackballed, by asking him that question.
No. I think everything's out in the open for the most part between me and the parties who would have been blackballing me. But so I had, after the season, Blaze Reardon reached out, plays for the Chaos. He was their goalie, right? And he said, "Hey, we got an opportunity for you to play 2 games until the Buffalo Bandits NLL players come back. Might be 1, might be 2, possibly 3, but probably not." And so, I hummed and hawed about it. I said, I can push back. I was supposed to have my surgery last Tuesday. And so I was like, you know what, I'll postpone it by a month or so and play these 2 games. I know my Fusion families would love to see me play in the PLL. Since we started the company, I haven't played professional field lacrosse. So I was, I didn't really care, the money or, it was more about I want people to see we play professional field lacrosse. Anyways, I was supposed to report to Albany next weekend, and it's happens to be the toughest flight from Vancouver. We did it this season already. I had to drive down to Seattle 2 hours, take a red eye at midnight into Chicago, and then Chicago to Albany. And there's actually a recruiting tournament in BC next on June 1st. So I would have had to come back from Albany on the Tuesday, gone to Victoria for the recruiting event on Wednesday, and then back to Albany on Thursday. and then
Oh my God.
I got to tell you, man, Coach Towers, I don't know if you guys have seen Andy Towers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He is as intense of a person as he, portrays online. He had me ready to run through a wall for him. He was jacked up to have me. Then it was, so I wanted to miss the scrimmage. I wouldn't have made the Wednesday Victoria event if I missed the scrimmage on Tuesday night. The Chaos play the Cannons. And so it was kind of in limbo, and the higher ups in the PLL, it was their decision whether to let me miss that scrimmage or not, which would have been the Rabel brothers. And today, Coach Towers and I were talking, and we just decided it's you know what, this is a lot for just 2 games. And he's pretty high on my on my ability to play the game. He thinks I still got it in field lacrosse. So, we said we'd revisit it next year. So I'm going to Philly next week to get surgery now.
There you go. Go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, I mean, anybody who saw you play in MLL or saw you play for Team Canada knows what you bring to the equation. I mean, that's I can't wait to see you out there playing with other Canadian players and see that magic. I wanted to ask you while I got you here about 2014, that Team Canada tournament down in Denver, and you played a little rope-a-dope there for the round robin, and then you lit it up in the final. I think you had
five Genos and the gold medal there. Yeah,
I think was it 4 or 5, Kevin? In the final.
You froze on me there, but I'm assuming you're talking about my 5-goal game I had in 2014.
Exactly.
I never hate when people bring that one up. Still the highlight of my career, next to my first Man Cup with the Salmonbellies in 2009, which was pretty cool being a junior call-up. But yeah, the World Championships, we feel we got robbed in 2018. If you watch the game, some of that refereeing was real suspect.
Clock management was suspect.
Yes, there was a few problems.
Yeah. So, 2014 is kind of the year I'm hanging my hat on, and, I don't have any championships in the professional ranks yet. So still looking for my first one, and, hopefully it's going to be a Man Cup with the Salmonbellies. I know all these old folks, like the guy to your left there, would love nothing more than to see the Bellies win a championship.
Well, let me spin it back to your pro career here for a second, Kevin. And I don't know, are you upcoming? Are you unrestricted free agent territory? Are you done? Is your contract?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident I am.
So I'm just, I don't think there's any tampering involved with me talking to you. I'm not really, what do you think? You're chilling in New West right now, unrestricted free agent. You're back with the Bellies. This is your home. Vancouver on the come up here. Is this a possibility that we could see you in black and gold next December?
You know what? After this season, I kind of wanted to take some time and, get my surgery and focus on the coaching aspect for this summer. Not really paying any mind to next year yet, digesting the season. So, I might, I love Philadelphia. It's been my second home. Great sports town, obviously. There's a lot of great things going on in Philly for me there too. So, like I said, I'm going to take my time on that decision.
I'm pretty sure that's the same answer I give when people ask me if I'm going to run for mayor again. So I just want to say, you got a future in politics, Big Cat.
I didn't want to say it.
That's a good one. There's no question about it.
How long do we have Kevin for here? Do we got to let him go?
Yeah. What's your schedule? You got time for a couple more minutes?
Maybe playing hooky on. I got time. Might be
playing. I wanted to get you
practice.
To talk a little bit about Fusion. You referenced it earlier.
I definitely want to get Fusion in there because I know you guys are out running and gunning around Queens Park. You got Hammer out there helping you and a couple other guys, but you started up Fusion. I want to say close to a decade or something, Kevin. And it's really blow. You got a girls program now. You got field. You got box going. Tell me about Fusion Lacrosse, and if any kids are out there listening right now in the Lower Mainland and want to get signed up, how do they do it?
Yeah, so we started Fusion Lacrosse on the East Coast, actually in Philadelphia. Steve Holmes and I were working for Johnny Meridian's company, American Indoor Lacrosse, and Steve had a large, lot to do with what was going on in that company. Wasn't working out on the business end between the two groups. So Steve's like, "Hey, Crowley, I'm going to go do this on my own. Do you want to jump on board?" And at that time, I was focused on trying to be the best lacrosse player in the world. I said, "Don't even give me an email address. I'm not going to send a single email. Just tell me where to be, and I'll show up and coach." And it's almost been obviously 10 years now since that started. So I moved back during the pandemic in June of 2020. I've run camps on the West Coast since 2013 as well, but it was sitting around here. The borders kept closing. I thought I'd be out of Philly for 3 months and then back in the fall, but border closures, and wanting to be closer to my family. I ended up staying. So I was like, well, you know what? It's kind of the kick in the ass I needed to start, a travel team up here, do the same thing that I'm doing on the East Coast, and, hopefully provide more opportunities for the kids on the West Coast. Obviously near and dear to my heart, growing the game from the area I came from. So, we started slow, and we were the only ones really getting lacrosse programming going on during the pandemic. So, we were able to, kind of a story that you don't hear that often. We were able to build a business in the pandemic out here. So it's been great so far.
I wanted to just ask you a bit about your philosophy. I mean, I noticed a real difference with Fusion. I came up here today at Queen's Park set up, and there's kids walking around in this town. You always see kids wearing Bellies colors and carrying sticks, but they're wearing Fusion West shirts. You go to a Warriors game, you guys would always have a section. You go to a Bellies game. Last summer when we did the exhibition series, they're always there at the north end of the arena. And as Jake just said, you guys have an amazing a girls program, which really sets you apart. There's something philosophically different about the way Fusion is doing this. Talk a little bit about your philosophy, and does it come from the way you were taught the game here in New West?
Yeah, I think, I've learned so much more than, obviously coming through the ranks, like being a West Coast guy. I feel like I learned a lot when I became a professional and got to learn from, the Dan Dawsons and Brody Merrill, especially as my rookie season, and then going to Toronto Rock for a cup of coffee in 2015. I picked up a lot of stuff there. So I've been very fortunate to be coached by some of the best players and have played with some of the best players. And I feel like I have, a level of, intelligence, and I want to share that with the kids on the West Coast. And I want to introduce it to them at a younger age than I learned, because, you're always as a student of the game. Like, I'm still learning, and I'm 33 years old in this league, but there are some things that I picked up along the way that I want to pass down to, my local boys here. And so, I want big picture. I want bigger representation from the West Coast on our national teams. So that's men's and female. Right now it's like usually 3 or 4 players on each national teams from the West Coast. So, big picture, larger representation. And I think that's like introducing kind of, the concepts and that knowledge that I've picked up from the East Coast and bringing it back here, and, kind of cracking the whip on lacrosse in British Columbia.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. Just on your way out the door here, Kevin, I know you mentioned the 09 Man Cup. I had a chance to call that one, and it's a Man Cup I'll never forget. I know you won't either. Bellies unfortunately come out on the wrong side of it, so we'll move on from that. But you grew up in New Westminster, watching some really great teams. Do you have a favorite memory as a kid going to Queen's Park?
Yeah, the one that pops in my head was, I used to throw around with Joey Hiltz back in the day. I don't know what years those would have been, but like,
Those are my years.
Those are big years. Early 90s.
Late 90s, yeah, early mid 90s.
Jumbo, you couldn't catch, so I guess we
No,
couldn't
I wasn't playing.
Oh, man.
All right, Kevin's got to go. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Get the first aid kit.
Yeah, Joe, that was a really cool experience. I think he worked with my dad at Beachcomber Hot Tubs at the time, so there was that connection. And it's funny, you think like as small as a thing as just like a catch with a ball boy, and how that can stick out in their head. Like, that was one of my fondest memories. The walk to the park, obviously, like from your house, walking by the dressing room, seeing the guys out there. It happened, in between periods. It's always been, it's New Westminster, right? Like it's tough to describe to anyone who hasn't seen it in person or been to a game or seen the wooden floor. But yeah, it's obviously ingrained in my upbringing. So I always appreciate it.
It's funny you say that the players outside between periods, because I think like as young lacrosse players, especially when intermissions happen and the guys are hanging around talking outside and the kids are kind of out there throwing their ball in the grass or whatever, but to just kind of see and be that close to the big boys is a real big thrill that I don't know if a lot of people are like talking and think, but when you mentioned that, I thought to myself, like, yeah, like I totally remember that when I was a kid doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I love still about going and seeing the WLA game compared to the pro game. And I think you need.
Well, you're
both.
still asking for autographs from people, Paul. So that's
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't believe it. I've got one of the best behind me here, and Eddie Ogilvy on the front of that one there. So there you go.
all right. Well,
Before we let you
Kevin
go, Kevin,
go.
I'm gonna ask you something here. You mentioned you're 33, so you're half as old as Jack's service to the Salmonbellies here. So let's see if Jack's been with the club. I think this will be 66 years now. I want to ask you, you got a question for the big cat?
Not really, but I just want to get something in here. And don't forget it. My son has a granddaughter. Her name is Tegan Eng.
Okay.
She's got a scholarship at Arizona State for field lacrosse and also for academics. She's a very bright young girl. She plays for the girls team in Westminster.
Yeah.
But just remember that name, Tegan Eng. We're going to hear from her. She won't be able to play box.
Yeah.
Because I think they're restricted from once she starts at Arizona State. But anyway, she's a super athlete. The other night I went to the game and she played soccer until 4:30 and then came and played lacrosse.
Yeah. Well, girls are on the upswing here in New West, and Kevin, you've been a big part of that. Have you met Tegan yet?
I've met, but I've heard about her. I heard she was super fast. That was like, Canadians aren't known for their athleticism typically. So when you have a fast one, you hear about it pretty quick. But that's, Tegan's going to be, like a benchmark or a role model for, our girls in our program growing up. And Arizona State's not a bad place to land in terms of a college experience either. So, it's girls like this who are going and graduating and then coming back and giving back to the, the young girls, teaching the game and girls to look up as role models. It's so important to the growth of the girls game.
She's got so much speed initially. She's just gone. And
that first step matters.
I wish I knew what that felt like.
I started moving last week and I haven't had my first step yet. So, I don't know what that's like either.
If you might get a chance to get out and visit her, she's playing for the Salmonbelly team here.
Okay. That's another thing. We got women's box lacrosse going. I know they're playing out of Queens Park, New West. There's a bunch of women's teams playing now, which is just fantastic. Just fantastic.
For the seniors, because it only goes up to 18. I don't think you go any further than that. But if you get a chance, just go and take a look at her and watch what she does away from the ball and watch how tough she is, how strong she is, and how fast she is.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
I look forward to it. Kevin.
I'm not even her agent.
Exactly. Well, you're always the agent when it's your granddaughter.
Best of luck.
We want to thank you so much for spending some time with you and spending some time with us, I should say. And we wish you a speedy recovery. We want to thank you for everything you're doing for the Salmonbellies, that you're doing for lacrosse in New West. And really, you said it, growing the game. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing you in a Salmonbellies uniform next summer and a Warriors uniform coming up in the winter.
That's your hot take. There you go. Thanks a lot, Kev. Hey, Liam and Adam, I should have asked you this a long time ago. I should have asked you how your time was. Or you guys wanted to hang on here? You wanted to, what's your time allowing you to do? You having fun being a part of this or you want to sign off? Oh, you're muted, Adam. That's a $1 fine when you're muted.
There. Yeah, no, I have to sign off at 8 o'clock here, but I'm going to stick around till 8, then I'm out.
Awesome. Liam, you good?
Yeah, I'll be doing the same with Adam there. We're just jumping on a quick call together with some of the team members.
Okay, awesome. Well, let me give a bit of an update on the auction and the.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So the auction, where we are right now in terms of our fundraiser, we are at 5436 in terms of the amount we've raised. That's just a little over half of our goal. So we need to get her going. And we have just about an hour exactly left in 50-50 tickets. And the pot right now is $1,525. Now I've seen Salmonbellies crowds build that total up bigger than that at a playoff game or even sometimes a regular season game. So we can do better than that. Folks, go to salmonbellies.com. You'll find the link right there. You're probably watching through that same website and click on it and buy your tickets. You can buy 3 for $5, 7 for $10, 50 for 20, or 150 for 50. So you got to get on there and take advantage of that. And I know that Adam and Liam, the second they sign off, they're going to be going right to salmonbellies.com and buying those tickets.
Well, I just want
Absolutely.
to say to the people out there, Paul, don't, you know, I encourage you to support the Salmonbellies and buy your 50-50 tickets. But so people know, I've won the 50-50 at Queen's Park on 3 separate occasions. So I got some good luck when I'm in that building. I won at a playoff game one time. I won a Minto Cup 50-50 at Queen's Park once. And back in 1995 at the Man Cup against the Six Nations Chiefs, I was 1 number off. The guy beside me won the 50-50. It was about $6,000.
Listen to this. I went to Salmonbellies games without missing a single game for 20 years. In fact, there were a couple nights I showed up without realizing there was a bye. I kid you not. And I never won a 50-50. I went with the Salmonbellies in the old days. Paul Del Monte will remember this, would play against the WLA champs would play against the All-Star team.
Yeah.
At the Agrodome. And it was not a big crowd. And I remember going and I won the 50-50 the one time. It was $60. I owed my buddy who I was there with $30 and I bought a round of beers. By the time I got back to my seat,
You lost money. You lost money.
Exactly. So I've got some tickets in the 50-50 draw tonight, but I don't think I'm a threat.
There's my tickets.
Okay, awesome. Jack's got some skin in the game here too.
How can I lose with all these
Exactly,
tickets?
exactly. How many times have you won the 50-50?
Never.
You've never won.
Never
Come
won
on.
junior.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that.
That's
Jack.
amazing. That's amazing. Well, you know, you win on the golf course. That's where you win.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's where you don't want to take them on. Hey, we got a couple of guys sitting there in the dark waiting to join us. And we got Paul Del Monte here, our commissioner of the WLA and also a former alumnus, king of the sub shot. And then we also have Matthew Disher. Matt's growing the big pelt there. How's it going, buddy?
Not bad. How are you guys doing?
Not too
Yes.
bad. And Rod
Matt.
Bannister, another goalie signing on. I don't know. This is a high goalie count we're going to have for the next half an hour at least here.
Great to
We're
see you,
expecting
Jack.
Manger. Now Manger signed on time. I am a great technology teacher. Oh, hang on a sec. His daughter Phoenix was helping him last night. We are not completely finished there yet.
We got a little echo in the background as well.
Exactly. I think he's got probably 2 things going there. Manger, you there? Hello, Manger.
Come on,
Oh,
Banger, you can do it.
There we
we
go. We got him. We got a quarter of Rick's face.
This is classic.
Just remember, movies are special. Okay.
Hey, if Hawk can figure it out, Manger, come on now. He's still connecting there.
Step to the right, Manger.
Production
You went over a little
values.
bit, Rick.
We wasted no dollars on production values here, folks.
Now he's staring at his camera. How's it going, Matty? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, buddy.
Hawk, welcome aboard. Thanks for doing this.
My pleasure. Good to be here.